Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are doing well. Today we will learn the third chapter the Delhi Sultans of class 7 history. Here's the first part of the chapter. Dear children, so far we have seen that there was no mention of a kingdom with Delhi as its capital. So Delhi first became the capital under Tomar Rajputs, who were defeated by Chauhans of Ajmer in the middle of 12th century. So under the Tomars and Chauhans, Delhi became an important commercial center. Many rich Jain merchants lived in the city and they made several temples here. Coins were minted here, they were known as Dehliwal, and these coins had a large area of circulation. In the beginning of the 13th century, with the foundation of Delhi Sultanate, Delhi was transformed into a capital controlling vast area of subcontinent. The Delhi Sultans built many cities in the area that we know as Delhi. You can see the sub cities in some cities in Delhi. Among them is considered Delhi Kuna as the oldest one. Other than Delhi Kuna, there is Jahanpana, Siri, Tughlaqabad. So all these cities were uh, built during the time of Delhi Sultans. There were five dynasties that together made the Delhi Sultanate. So the first one is called early Turkish rulers from 1206 to 1290. Then second Khalji dynasty 1290 to 1320. After that Tughlaqs took over and it was known as Tughlaq dynasty from 1320 to 1414. Then came Sayyid dynasty from 1414 to 1451 and last Lodi dynasty 1451 to 1526. Now how do we know about the Delhi Sultanate? So there are the source of information. They are uh, inscriptions, coins, architecture, but the most important among these is the histories, uh, which is called Tariq in singular and Tawarik in plural. These histories were written in Persian language, and Persian language was the language of administration under the Delhi Sultans. Now, the authors of Tawarik were the learned men, such as secretaries, administrators, poets, and counselors. They not only narrated the events but also advised rulers on governance or on administration and emphasized the importance of just rule. For example, Fakhr-i Mudabbir wrote in 13th century about the circle of justice, and he wrote, a king cannot survive without soldiers and soldiers cannot live without salaries. Salaries come from revenue collected from peasants, but peasants can pay revenue only when they are prosperous and happy. This happens when the king promotes justice and honest governance. So this was the uh, writing of Circle of Justice by Fakhr-i Mudabbir. But when we say about authors, uh, though the account of these authors were valuable source for historians, but at the same time the following things should be kept in mind. The first one, that the authors of Tawarik lived in Delhi and mainly the cities, and mainly it is Delhi, and they hardly ever lived in villages. Second, that they often wrote their histories for Sultan in the hope of rich rewards. And the third one, that these authors favored a social order which was based on birthright and gender distinction. Though everybody did not agree with their ideas of gender distinction and birthright, Sultan Iltutmish's daughter Razia, uh, who became Sultan in 1236, about her, the Chronicler of that time, Minhaji Siraz, recognized that she was more able and qualified than her brothers, but at the same time, he could not accept uh, a queen as ruler. He thought that queen's rule went against the ideal social order made by God, in which women were supposed to be subordinate to men. Even Razia's nobles were also not liking her independent ruling, and because of that, within 4 years, in 1240, she was removed from the throne. Now let us see how fortified town of Delhi expanded to an empire, Delhi Sultanate. In early 13th century, the Delhi Sultans focused only at fortified towns and seldom controlled the adjacent lands, that is hinterland, um, that supply goods and services to towns. Due to this, the sultans were dependent upon trade, tribute, plunder, or loot for their supplies. Now let's see what were the challenges that the Sultanate had to face, and why the expansion could not done earlier. So the first challenge was that to control the garrison or military town in distant Bengal and Sind from Delhi due to the long distance was extremely challenging. At the time, keeping contact with far off places were extremely difficult, as the communication was done through runners or messengers only, and rebellion, war, or bad weather was big hurdles in keeping the continuous communication or continuous contact. Then Mongol invasions from Afghanistan was another challenge for Delhi's authority. And the governors also challenged the Delhi Sultanate by rebelling whenever they found any sultan less capable or less strong. Due to all these challenges, the Sultanate could not remain integrated and or united. It was barely surviving these challenges. Its consolidation or unification occurred during Ghiyasuddin Balban's rule. It was expanded further by Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughluq. So the first set of expansion of the Sultanate, the hinterlands, that is adjacent areas, were integrated or merged within the garrison towns through a series of battles. In the process of such campaigns, forests were cleared in the Ganga Yamuna Doab. Doab means do means two and ab means water. So a place where two waters meet, that is Doab. The habitants, hunter gatherers, and pastoralists were removed from their areas, and lands were given to peasants for agriculture. At the same time, to protect trade route and to promote regional trade, new fortresses, garrison towns, and the other towns were also established. It was the internal frontier or border. Now, the second set of expansion included the expansion of external frontier of the Sultanate. Controlling the regions of South India through military expedition started during the reign of Alauddin Khalji and ended or culminated with Muhammad Tughluq. In the battles, the Sultanate armies captured elephants, horses, and slaves and carried away precious metals with them. By the end of Muhammad Tughluq's reign, the armies of Delhi Sultanate had marched across a large part of the subcontinent, defeated uh, rival armies, and seized cities. You can see the area which was under uh, Tughlaq's reign. So it is a large area, you can see which is shown in the map with green color. The Sultanate collected taxes from peasants and provided justice in its territory. How it was done? It was a difficult thing to be done. Uh, the effective and complete control over such a vast territory. Now, here is some information about the masjid, an Arabic term for mosque. In Masjid Jami or Jama Masjid or um, congregational mosque, Muslims read their prayer together. The most learned male member of congregation, that is Imam, leads the rituals of prayer and delivers the religious speech that is called khutbah. During prayer, Muslims stand facing Mecca. In India, this is to the west and it is called Qibla. The Delhi Sultans built many mosques all over the subcontinent to show that they were the protectors of Islam and Muslim. Mosques helped uh, to create the sense of a community among Muslims because they came from a variety of backgrounds. So this was about the first part of this chapter. Now there are some questions for revision. So the first question is, under which dynasty did Delhi become the capital? When did it become an independent, important commercial center? Second, what are the sources of information about Delhi Sultans? Third, write an account of Razia. Fourth, how did the territories of Delhi Sultanate expand from garrison town to empire? Explain the first phase of expansion. Fifth, what is called a masjid? How is it used? I hope you liked this presentation and you found it helpful. Thank you, children.